This is my KTM Prowler Exonic. It pretty much comes with the nicest kit you can possibly put on an e-bike, and including that is the motor. It comes with the Bosch CX race motor, and I've been wondering for a while now, how much difference does the race motor really make? In real terms, how much faster is it than the normal Bosch CX motor? So what I plan to do, I'm going to take this out to my bike park, I'm going to do a couple of time laps, but I guess I need something to do a comparison with. So I'm going to compare it with my KTM Prowler Expert. This thing doesn't have all the fancy kit. It's a pretty nice bike, but doesn't come with all the fancy kit that the Exonic comes with, but they're very similar bikes. This one has a slightly smaller battery, but doesn't have the carbon wheels and things, so their weight is about the same, similar geometry. I'm used to riding both bikes. So anyway, we'll meet you out in the bike park, and anyway, let's see what result we can come up with. Okay, we're going to start with the old bike, the KTM Prowler Expert, and we're going to do a track called Shred the Needle. It's mostly downhill with a little bit of a pinch climb in the middle, so the motor will have less effect on this because a lot of the time it'll be turned off. But anyway, I've got to get down to get up, so anyway, you might as well time this one. All right, we're into it. Now you may be wondering how I'm going to do the timing on this thing. I'm just going to use the GoPro. GoPro makes a really good timing device actually, because you can slow it up frame by frame at the finish line. Just pick a tree to finish on. Right, and I love riding in turbo, and so today's ride is all about the turbo. I don't know what I'll think if this thing's actually fastest. I do like this bike though. It's a really cool bike. Okay, it's a little pinch climb. Yeah, definitely in turbo. I'll apologise now for all the puffing because it's going to be a fair bit of it. Okay, so this sort of stuff I'm not even pedaling, so really makes no difference. Whee! Bikes are very similar. They're actually a very similar weight. This has got a slightly smaller battery at 625, but it doesn't have the carbon wheels and cranks of the other one, so I think the weights are almost identical. All right, we'll use that as a finishing mark, I think. Whew, one run down. All right, this one's going to be a bit tougher because this is the uphill one, but this is probably the proper test. All right, oh, we're into it. Whoop, bit of a big gear to start with. Now, I can't sprint the whole way up because I'm just not that fit, but I'll try and get oh, I'm losing my breath already. Keep a steady rate the whole way up. Wow, amazing, look at the speed. I'm almost topping out the speed coming uphill, so still quite zesty, the old turbo. This track does have a little bit of downhill, so mostly uphill, but I will do the little bit of down just to keep it interesting. Right, so winding things up. Of course, I would have done stitch up, put their logging in there, so we'll do winding things up. Here's these little hairpin turns that we might see the benefit of the race. Just that extra kick out of the corners. That's assuming, of course, that on the second run I'm not absolutely stuffed. Okay, so you can go up there, but might as well throw in a bit of downhill loop. Whew. I've forgotten how much I like this bike. I haven't ridden it for a while. Been toying with the idea of selling it, but I hate selling things I love. Okay, am I still sprinting up here? It doesn't feel like it anymore, but as I say, they should be fairly consistent. I'm going to go the same sort of pace. I'm not fit enough to sprint the entire way up, and I know people say, but it's an e-bike, but trust me, it's still hard going. You're still putting in quite a lot of effort. You're just going a lot faster. Look, we're doing 20 kilometers an hour up the hill there.
Yeah, it's not bad, guys. All right, I think we'll call that the end. All right, just trying to catch my breath. Need to go and swap the bikes around now and repeat. Hopefully get a little bit of rest and recover. Anyone who doesn't get the whole concept that e-bike can give you a workout, that's in turbo coming up there. And you can see I'm breathing hard, and so I wasn't sprinting, but that's a workout. You just don't understand e-bikes. If you don't understand you can get a workout, you're just flying up the hill fast, you're working out just as hard. Anyway, rambling as usual, let's get another bike. All right, so got the Exonic out, connected the Flow app. As you can see, my dynamics, my assistance are all I've set to the maximum. Maximum speed still 32 kilometers an hour, and maximum torque still 85 Newton meters an hour, and I can't make those go any higher. So anyway, let's get into it. All right, no messing around, shred the needle. Now, again, this track's mostly downhill, so, I mean, I'm not even pedaling at the moment, so the race mode is not going to do very much, but just as an interesting comparison to see how much faster I am, or if I'm faster. I'll be a bit gutted if I'm slower on this bike. A little bit there, though, that is kickier out of there. So it's got no more power, and can't go faster. So what's the difference? Well, I think it just, a couple of things. One, it's more dynamic, so it takes off really fast, and gives you a really rapid boost of power, and also you get an overrun effect. So if you pedal, the power keeps going for longer. And I have found, to my detriment, that riding in race on techie downhill stuff can actually be a bit dangerous, because you do half a pedal crank and it wants to shoot you off down the hill. So I don't tend to ride in race when I'm doing real techie stuff. Okay, question is, am I going to be faster on the second run or tighter? I'm not sure. All right, down the hill. Oh, got bucked a bit there. Don't know what happened then. Right, yeah, puffing hard. Okay, so I'm not really feeling the effect of the race motor on this track very much. But anyway, as you say, it's a little experiment. Can you remember where we finished? Oh, look at the deer. Hey, isn't that cool? And I think we just finished just here. All right, had a little rest to get my breath back, and we're into it. Back up the hill. Oh, you see the motor cut out there. We went over the speed limit just going up the hill. We won't, oh, did it again. You see we're over 31. You do find, even when riding in turbo, and especially with race, you almost need to cover your finger on the brakes when even going uphill into a corner, because you sometimes will get boosted around the corner. Oh, yeah. Oh, this is such a fun bike though. I just love this thing. I absolutely love everything about this bike. Right, winding things up again. I honestly, first impressions, I'm not sure if I'm any faster. That's where timing these things can be quite cool, because subjectively sometimes you can't really tell a difference, but when you put it on the clock, yeah, there is a difference. And I guess if you're racing EWS on e-bikes, EWS, whatever it is, then every bit counts. Now, I deliberately ran it today. I've come out here on my own during the week because I didn't want to catch people coming up the hill, because then that kind of, I did a video once with me and Brent comparing the Bosch and the Bros motor, and the trails were so busy we had to have multiple attempts to try and get a clean run at it, because you can't really just go flying past someone, elbow them out the way and say, I'm testing my race motor. I know people hate e-bikers, but no, that's going a bit far. All right, down the hill again. This bike, of course, does have slightly better suspension than the other bike. It's got good suspension than the other bike, but this is all Fox factory. So this sort of stuff is going to be might be marginally better. All right, getting near the top. Question is, are we any faster? Did anyone remember where we said we were going to stop? I think it's just where the sign is. Fly through here. Oh, I'm glad that's all done. All right, I'm going to head back home and download the footage and look on the computer and put it in my editing software and see exactly the time. If you think I'm clever enough to look at the tiny little GoPro screen and try and work out the exact finish and things, that's too complicated for me. So anyway, I'll meet... What? What? Seriously? You want me to do the whole thing again in EMTB just for comparison? Really? I suppose that would be interesting, wouldn't it? All right, we'll do one more lap. I'll put it in EMTB. Yeah, why not? All right, we're into it. I cannot believe you're making me do this again. But anyway, it's good fun. Beats working. Yeah, so you definitely notice less kick than the race motor out of something like those corners. But it still will give you 600 watts peak power. In fact, this is the one I ride in for most of my rides. Still will give you peak power, but you kind of matches what you put in. So it doesn't give you peak power just for the hell of it. You have to work for it. Okay, yeah, she is noticeably not kicking out as much as the race. Step out a little bit. Hey guys, if I tell you a secret, it's strictly between you and me, don't tell anyone else. But I went up the hill in EMTB and was talking away as I do, and then I turned the GoPro off because I figured I didn't need to film the whole thing, and then I realized I was using the GoPro as a timer. So I had to go all the way to the top to come back down to go back up again. I don't know why I do these things, but anyway, take two. All right, EMTB, take two, let's go. Alright, and before any of you even thinking of asking, I'm not going to do an eco comparison. This is all we're doing. And I can't believe I'm coming up here twice in EMTB. I think some of you guys think I do this for comic effect, but I really am this incompetent. I don't know what I managed to mess things up. But anyway, just remind me, don't turn the GoPro off on the way on up. The EMTB certainly feels more natural through the sort of switchbacky corners. You don't feel as though you've got to sort of almost cover the brake in the corners, because it's sort of, I guess, a lot less overrun around the corner. All right, I think we'll be all good. EMTB, final run. There you go.
Alrighty, I've got the results. I've even got my brand new glasses. Do you like them? I think I can actually see a bit better, which is good. Okay, so the non-race KTM, we went down shred the needle in 2 minutes 11.8 of a second. That's right, I can get it that accurate. And this bike obviously is going to be faster. This is 2 minutes 12.87. Okay, that's a second slower. That's a bit disappointing. With all this factory suspension and carbon wheels and a wireless drivetrain, I was a second slower. I think statistically different, there's not much difference between the two bikes, and in some ways that's a really good thing for this experiment. It shows that downhill, these bikes are about the same speed, so uphill, the motor will be all the difference. So I guess it's a good thing for the experiment, but yeah, I would have liked this one if it was just a little bit on the faster than that one. But hey, what can you do? So, this one up the hill did it in 8 minutes 39.89 of a second. This one 8 minutes 23.61. So that's 16.3 seconds faster. So I think that's significant. How much significant? 3% faster overall. So not a huge difference, but certainly if you're racing and you're looking for that extra little bit of advantage, then the race motor is faster uphill. I think the real advantage to the race motor is probably that over a run feature, where if you're trying to get up sort of up and over features, it gives you that little bit of boost to get you up and over. I've tried testing the race motor once before. Ideally, I think it's suited to rocky, steep terrain, trying to go up rocky, steep terrain. The thing is, I live here in Auckland in New Zealand, and we simply don't have rocks. I don't ride anywhere where there are any rocks. I got to pretty much go to the South Island for me to find some rocks. So, and if you try it on steep stuff, in Auckland, the other thing about Auckland is it is wet for pretty much the entire year. So the race motor, I didn't find particularly helpful when you've got no traction and you simply can't get up anyway. So, yeah, the race motor is faster. There are other advantages to it, but even just on a basically straight run up the hill, obviously it's giving you enough of a peak boost out of every one of those corners. EMTB, how did we do with that? Down Shred the Needle, it was only 1 second slower than in race, and there was a small pinch climb in the middle there. So basically, as you'd expect, the race motor made no difference downhill. 1 second, there's nothing really in it that I could make. I could be 1 second different if I repeated the run twice anyway. The hill climb, however, was 42.4 seconds slower. That's 8.4% slower. So definitely the race up the hill was a lot faster than EMTB up the hill. So what have we learned? Well, we had a lot of fun. We learned that, yeah, the race motor there's not a big difference, but there is a difference, and it is fun to ride with as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. A lot of people come up to me these days and say, is this your full-time gig? Do you do it as a full-time job now? And it almost takes up as much time as a full-time job, but the income is more like a schoolboy's paper run. So I'd like to change that if I could one day. And maybe next time you're going to the retirement village, get your granny's iPad, stick it in front of her, put Best Day Ever playlist on and just start playing it, and hit the subscribe button for her as well. It all helps. Anyway, love hearing your comments. Let me know what you think. What do you think of the fact that this bike was actually faster than that one? Anyway, we'll see you on the next one.